I'm the king of capos.
Fuck yeah!
This next song,
Like a boss.
I like to just look in the crowd and make sure none of my family members are here when I sing this next song. Because the song is all about the secrets of my family. I have a stepmother who really likes to share when she gets tipsy. And because I'm not her real son, she felt comfortable telling me all of this scandalous stuff over the years. Gossip about her own life and about, you know, my mom and my dad and all this, and grandparents. And my brother and sister, who are her real kids, you know, like, if I'm like, you know, Gene told me that, you know, they have no interest in hearing it. And I amassed all these family secrets, and I had to tell somebody. So I told the whole world. My father built a house for my stepmother in the mountains, and he often sees his mistress on the slide. My mother is a lesbian, and she comes for Christmas dinner with her partner to my father's house for pie. My father travels around the world, making friends with other girls, and my stepmom drinks alone and often cries. But she also seems to have a couple of lovers on the side, as she rants about my father's little eyes. Now, she was once the principal at an alternative high school where they put on plays about the Marquis de Sade. She tutored my gay uncle who was trying to find himself. This was long before he moved out to Cape Cod. After divorce, my dad was free to woo her in his fashion, and she capitulated even though she was living with a physicist who raised rabbits for their meat and didn't know my father was her other beau. Eventually they made it real, stopped calling it dating, and started procreating in the woods. My father made his fortune, my mother built a porch, and they shared me back and forth through childhood. My father gave me sex talks, he'd never gotten sex talks. He got my mother pregnant the first time. But they chose to find a doctor on the wrong side of the tracks. It was easier than crossing the state lines. But even more than sex talks, what influenced me most was seeing my uncle die of AIDS. So as my friends took chances in sexual circumstances, I learned to play guitar and get good grades. I think some of you can relate to that comment. We're a mixed up modern family. Mixed up modern family. True, maybe I know a little too much about the history of my mixed up modern family. My mother had, of course, by then grown tired of dating divorced men and started batting for the other team. I met a girl who liked that fact. Her mom, too, was a dyke, in fact, and I woke up 8 years later from that dream. Her father died of Huntington's, my grandfather of Parkinson's. Their suffering was nature's reprimand to a wife-beater and pedophile, appropriate diseases for two men who never could control their hands. I'm just saying. Learning why my grandfather was fired as camp counselor explains why my step-uncles are so off, and why I always seem to feel him breathing heavily next to me whenever some old doctor does the hold and cough. I also know too much about my grandmother's vagina. Her first husband's penis was too thick because the doctors sewed her up too tight after she'd given birth, so when he died, she went and found the thinner dick. And this is all true. They called that a love knot in the 50s. That's what happens when you have only men running the medical establishment. Now my stepmom has recovered and she's writing about her life. She sends me long accounts of her affairs. My father lives alone now, but still calls her his wife. I guess they both have love enough to share. For they talked it out and stated that the passion had abated, in menopause when she became deranged. Now that it's all on the table, their love's stronger and more able to accept the fact that nothing's really changed. We're still a mixed up modern family. A mixed up modern family. True, maybe I know a little too much about the history of my mixed up modern family, but I love my mixed up modern family.